So I just came back from El Salvador. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a little bit browner. Nah, I'm joking. I don't talk like this, guys. I don't talk like this. If this is your first time watching me, this is not how I talk. I'm from California. But I did come back from El Salvador yesterday night. I guess more like today, because it was basically 12 a.m. And this video is a continuation of like getting back on my feet. The previous video, if you haven't watched it, check it out. But basically, if you are awakening, if you are an empath or a spiritual guy or a guy who's just exiting the matrix and awakening and seeing things as they are, the false things that there are in this world that are trying to put you down, trying to keep you asleep, all the conditioning that you're trying to undo, doesn't necessarily have to be spiritual, but usually, actually, I believe it has to be inherently spiritual cleanse, but through subconscious reprogramming or whatever it is, it's that you are cleansing your vessel, your physical body, your emotional body, your pain body, whatever, and somehow you landed on this video. So I live here in the Western world, the first world, in the world of social media and status and money and all this crap that we're inundated with. And I work a 9 to 5 job, just like most of you that are probably watching this. And I have been awakened or awakening in the awakening process, spiritual process. And I've been more present in the now and doing these processes to elevate myself spiritually, emotionally, become a better person, become aligned in the masculine, the divine masculine, be a good example of a healthy masculine, a spiritual, savage, shaman, masculine type of guy. But the past, I don't even know, month or two have been rough. And you could say it's the eclipses, it's all these frequency changes, it's a bunch of shit. It's all the things that I stopped doing and then started doing bad habits, stopped doing good habits, or things I had to let go and release, groups I had to walk away from, people I've had to let go of, people I've had to apologize to and rectify and realize that I've committed errors, that I've made mistakes, that I haven't been compassionate enough. So I've been releasing a lot of things. I've been working on a lot of things. And for the past few weeks, it's like things that I thought I had gotten over. I just resurfaced a lot of anxiety about money, and my ego got in the way. I wasn't performing in the way that I thought I needed to perform. Like, I was doing really well for a long time, before my current iteration, my version, my whatever you want to talk, my current version, whatever you want to call it, my current self. I was a very low, I was very low status, very low drive, not because I wasn't passionate about life, but because I was anxious about everything. I was depressed. I was codependent. I had no confidence in myself. My self-esteem was very low. I wasn't connected to my masculine or my feminine, but especially I wasn't connected to my masculine. I was ashamed of the masculine. I felt like I wasn't worthy of the true masculine, and I was lacking that male initiation, the male role model, and the rite of passage of man. So I've been undergoing that process, right? And that process is chaotic. It's not a one and done deal. It's a trials and tribulations, just like any other life, right? But with the masculine, it's the boy must die for the man to emerge. This is just the truth of it. This is how it is. So anyway, the past few weeks, I have been in a very low state, feeling burnt out, really burnt out, doubting myself, doubting the people around me, doubting my position in life, being inundated with a bunch of thoughts, feeling like I wasn't achieving the money or the status or the things that I needed to do to make myself a man. And especially the type of man that I thought I wanted or needed to be. So in my previous video, I talked about some of the things that I've been committed to doing. And I've been meditating, I've been journaling, I've been more present and compassionate and letting things go, really observing my thoughts and my feelings as well, my emotions, because sometimes we don't realize our thoughts are deceptions. Like, we'll consciously think one thing, but our feelings will say something else. Our emotions will say something else. The emotion will actually tell you the quality of your thought. It will actually let you know if it is being true, because your thought might be telling you one thing and your emotion might be feeling another thing. That's where you notice contradiction, and that's where you really have to be present with the emotion, not judge it though. Be present with emotion. And as a chronic overthinker, as an ADHDer, non-judgment is very difficult because I love to pick apart things. I'm someone who naturally analyzes everything. The natural world is how my mind likes to work. So it's a bit of a practice, especially for more logical thinkers. Anyway, so I've been doing these things and I so happen to have a trip coming up. But I realized that actually has been vital to this new transformation within myself and this shedding away of all these layers and this heaviness that I was feeling for quite a while. So I went to El Salvador for a little over a week, and it wasn't easy. I probably make a different video about all things that I've realized. Actually, I will make a different video because I've come away with a lot of downloads, a lot of insights, a lot of knowledge, wisdom that wasn't available to me. So like real. There's a better word for it, but so real, so absorbable. Because we can know things, we can learn things, and it just passes through us. This is like, it's been encoded in my DNA now. It's been encoded in me. I feel it in my heart. I feel it in me. It's a part of me now. And a part of it is actually connecting to my ancestors, because El Salvador is my mother's family history. It's on my mother's side. My ancestors are from that region. So feeling connection to the ancestors, feeling connection to where we come from and where we've been and what my mother had to go through, and just a deep appreciation of where I am now and where I'm going and what I have now in this first world country, in this developed country. The immense amount of gratitude I have felt. And I'm not trying to talk about El Salvador. It's gotten better for sure. But it's more the realization of what I have and what others don't have. But also humbling myself and removing my ego from these stupid games that don't actually matter and that are just image based. But anyway, back to the point. So what I noticed as I returned back from this trip, and it wasn't easy as I've mentioned, because my family, there's a lot of trauma, generational trauma, a lot of curses, you could say, not curses, but more like generational curses, like a lot of, it's been a war-torn country, so there's a lot of unconscious aspects of family dynamics that are very negative, neglectful, abusive. And it's not like I was neglected and abused there. No, I wasn't. I was treated very kindly for the most part. It's more, you notice these patterns. You notice because as a conscious being, you notice when something is coming from an unconscious process. You notice when something's coming from an unconscious process. So I've come back, and even though there was some negativity at some points, I realized that a lot of it was within me, because consciousness, I'm an expression of God and consciousness, and you're an expression of God and consciousness, and the person you don't like is an expression of God and consciousness. So we are all expressions of God and consciousness. And in that realization, I've realized even within these patterns, it is an expression of consciousness or unconsciousness in that aspect, but it is still a reflection of something within me from that person. And I want to be able to transmute that energy, because even though it is negative and it's seen as something that's attacking me, it's really not attacking me. Like, genuinely, it is not attacking me unless I believe it is attacking me. So holding on to this and letting it go and being able to be present, even if it's uncomfortable, be present and be in the state of observing and realizing when my judgments are coming from ego. That's where I was able to do like the shadow work. I was able to do well, that's a reflection of myself in that instance. I do that as well. I see it in myself. That's why I don't like it. Like, for example, I can be pretty cold sometimes. Like, I'm not very affectionate sometimes, or I have trouble reaching out to people. I have trouble. It's not that I don't care about people. It's just that I have trouble going out of my way and showing people that I genuinely care, and showing people that I genuinely care about them. And I do, for the most. I've gotten a lot better, but I still have these like slip ups, and it's just something that I'm working on. And I notice that's present in my family, and that like kind of neglectful side. And I really don't like it. And it was a little bit triggering, but I'm like, well, that's something that I notice in myself as well. Yeah, I'm judging so and so for that same thing that I do. And it becomes a process of like, oh, damn. And you slowly integrate those parts and accept it, accept that person radically, and accept yourself as well. And it's this weird thing that when that happens, it's almost like the situation goes away. Like it almost just dissipates. It gets better. It's very odd. I've noticed that in a lot of situations when I have noticed that pattern and accepted that pattern and like been conscious of that pattern and changed that pattern. The surroundings around me begin to change as well. Either that or I'm not noticing it, I'm not perceiving it anymore, or perceiving it differently. That the character of it, even though maybe it has stayed the same, I have changed. So it seems different even though it might be the same. But because I have changed, it has changed as well. Very interesting. So in that moment, it wasn't all like, oh, I'm so connected to God, I feel so good, I feel so high and mighty. It wasn't like that at all. It was actually challenging at some points, and I saw myself judging myself like, why am I not enjoying this as much as I should, or why is, do I feel this, or is my expectation too high, blah, blah, blah. But I started letting that go and allowing myself to just be, and suddenly it became a lot easier to be present, to be okay with whatever was happening in that moment. And something happened when I visited the Mayan ruins in El Salvador, La Joya de Seren. It's very difficult to explain, but I felt this connection, this home, this excitement, I wasn't going in there with expectations, because I was almost like a little bit apprehensive that I wouldn't feel anything, or that it'd just be a flop or whatever. But I was like, you know what, just whatever happens, happens, and just be present and enjoy the moment. So I went, and instantly it's like it just flowed, and I felt this connection. And I can't say those are like my direct ancestors, but most likely there's some ancestry there, right? I could feel the energy, the frequency of that area was different. I could feel these connections of like, there's a part of it where it's the shaman's temple, or I don't know if you'd call it shaman temple, but like the area for the shaman, and for the shaman to perform their rituals and whatnot. So instantly it drew me there, and I realized all these civilizations have a shamanic mysticism to them. There's these little puzzle pieces that started coming through to me, and I started connecting it, and I walked out of there. I don't know what happened. It's almost like I became different in some sense, not literally like different, but I walked away feeling more whole, feeling like I understood myself and my people and where we come from, and their wisdom in a way almost passed down to me, but not directly. It was slightly a mystic experience, but like I didn't realize it until maybe now, where I'm here and able to like actually sit with whatever. It just kind of hit me all at once. So I'm gonna not go over my whole trip, because that's not the point of this video. What I do want to say that's practical here is that when we go somewhere new, especially somewhere connected to our ancestry, but I would say when we're in a low spot, a low place, and there's scientific research actually backing this up, it's good to just leave for a while, at least a week. I'd say 3 days minimum, but I'd say a week, because it's almost like I went, there was this heaviness. It was a bit of a task. It was a bit of like there was resistance. There was some difficulties. It wasn't like it was all like great. But somehow, as I've come back, it's like I became new. And this baggage that I had, this bag of rocks, this backpack full of rocks, it's like I let a lot of that loose. And it's almost like a shed away. And I left it, I transmuted it, or I left it. And I've come back anew and revitalized. And I didn't realize how much energy I came back. You're not really able to tell right now, but I had food poisoning the past 3 days. And today's the first day that I actually find myself feeling better. I felt like complete garbage. I didn't sleep well and nothing like that yet. There's this new energy, this new revitalization, and it's lighter. And of course, I'm going to go back into the routine of going to work, doing the whole 9 to 5, and the routines of grocery shopping and being bogged down by the things that we're surrounded by in this Western world. And of course, the difficulties of a workspace, even though my workspace is okay, there are difficulties that come with it at times. It's almost like I've become more integrated and whole. And somehow, in going somewhere new, I've been able to let those parts go. So I know that's not available to everyone because, trips cost money. And I just so happen to have a trip lined up like right at this time. But what I will say, if it's possible, take about a week away from the area that you are mostly in, where you feel that negativity, and just go somewhere. It doesn't have to be anywhere fancy, but somewhere else. And it'd be great if it was maybe a vortex area like Sedona or Mount Shasta or Joshua Tree, and you'll come back renewed in some sense. But don't expect that. Don't do it for just that, but do it to be in some silence for a bit. Change the environment, change the factors, change the variables of where you're usually at. And then you'll start to see the patterns of what actually makes you feel low frequency, low vibe, what actually is bogging you down. So the science behind this, I'm not going to cite the study because I don't remember. But I know that there is scientific backing saying that when you move to a new spot, like let's say an addict, right? All the time they recover while they're in recovery centers or whatever, addiction centers. And when they're out, they go back into the environment that was the cause of addiction, and then they go back. But when they go somewhere else, like a new state or somewhere new without all those friends, all those triggers. And the thing is, the trigger of all these things, they don't relapse. And I know that's kind of different from what I'm saying right now, because that's like a whole thing, like move. But the thing is, because I've come back more whole, I feel like handle I'll be able to handle that situation a lot better, the one that I'm in right now, until I'm able to build into a new life, until I'm able to build into a new environment, until I'm able to align all these things. So I'm becoming the person that is building those things, because I do want to move away. I do want to leave the 9 to 5, the matrix. I do want to do these things. But as I become that person, it's going to naturally flow. I'm not going to force it. Of course, I'm going to still go into warrior mode, discipline mode, but it's going to come from a place of flow, from power. Not so much this forceful, bogged down, heavy energy with judgment and anger, and just it doesn't feel good. It doesn't really work. It doesn't work long term, especially. So this is what we do instead, and it's a cheap way of doing it. And if not, I would advise at least a day or some time, even if you have to work, some time to just stick to yourself. Like this park right here, it has become a place where I come to clear my mind, where I come to just enjoy and be in my thoughts. And I won't use my phone, or I'll bring a book, but most of all, I'm here with the trees, the birds saying yes, the squirrels, the ground squirrels. So for you, it might look different, but the message stays the same. I speak right now from experience. Literally, I'm experiencing this right now. It's the first day I've come back. I'm literally barely recovering from food poisoning. Yeah, here I am feeling a lot lighter, feeling revitalized, feeling like, okay, I feel more whole. I'm gonna be able to manage the things that stress me out at work. I'm gonna be able to manage the things that stress me out for my family. I'm gonna be able to manage the things that stress me out financially. And I've accumulated a few more strains actually as I've gone on to this trip. As I've more things come up in life. What the fuck is that, dude? God damn. Anyway, the road to wholeness is the road to actually becoming better and more fulfilled and ironically getting more done. It's not like really forcing and calling yourself a pussy and all this negative shit. I mean, here and there, okay, like call yourself out. But overall, the state of flow, the state, I don't know what the hell that is. I'm sorry if you can fucking hear that, but that's really annoying. The state of presence. When we align our presence, our state of consciousness into action, into thinking, it's working with our ego instead of our ego controlling us. That's where the beauty is. So this is the road to wholeness. This is the road to becoming better. This is a ground squirrel, like thinking I have food or something. Sorry. Yeah, so this is a bit of the journey I'm sharing as I go. And I know that it's all scattered. I hope you still enjoy these and can take something from this. I'll get better on giving like more structured advice and all that. Anyway, if you like these videos, let me know down below. Let me know if you've gone anywhere where you've received those weird downloads, or if you have any personal experience of what that might look like, or if you have any trips coming up, whatever it is. I'm gonna do things differently this time. You know, I was very routine, and there was a time for that. I don't regret it. It was a time for routine and getting shit done. But right now, I'm gonna flow with it. I'm gonna change the dynamics of what I was doing and not do the same damn thing for months on end, because I swear to God, I think since like August or September, I was doing an insane amount of just work and just not really realizing, hey, like there's some things you're missing here that are really important to you. So what that looks like, spending more time with my family, like actually dedicating like a day to going over and doing that. Um, Doing the things that I actually really want to work on long term. Like I love making videos. I'm going to continue to do that, but they're not going to be as consistent. They're not going to be as like, okay, you have to do it like 3 times a day. I mean, you have to do it every day. You're filmed this much and blah blah blah. I'm not going to put that much pressure on it. This is going to come from a place of actual genuinely wanting to give value, not just doing it for volume, for views or whatever. Like I genuinely want to give this value and speak from experience and give myself more time to genuinely build something that I want and that matters, and that matters to me, and that I know will be valuable. And it's going to take time to master. It's going to take time, and I am still figuring it out, but I have some ideas of where that direction might go. And I hope you stick around to see it, because it's gonna be it's gonna take a while, but it's gonna be interesting. What I do want to say though, these videos I'll talk about how to go from low vibe to high vibe. I'm gonna talk about spiritually masculine aligned things, about Jungian concept, like Jungian psychology of the archetypes, king, warrior, magician, lover, how to master, or how to get into our masculine primal energy, and a variety of other topics. So if you're interested, please subscribe. Please support the channel by just subscribing. Give me a comment. I'll respond to you, and I appreciate them. I read them. And as always, I want to thank you for watching this and sticking around, because I know this shit's just like everywhere. But I'm real. I'm a real dude. I'm not fucking like some AI bullshit or scripting this right now. And I ain't bullshitting you right now. I'm just a guy figuring shit out in the spiritual, masculine, scientific, all this bullshit field, and trying to integrate it all. And through my trials and tribulations, share it with others who resonate and build a tribe. Like genuinely, like I want to make some fucking meetups right now. That might be a thing I do, like make some content, go to some national parks, get some boys around, get some camping shit done, do some survivalist fucking shit, figure it out. Connect back to earth, connect back to self, connect back to God, all the good shit. Stick around, and I'll see you in the next one. Maybe I'll see you in the campground, bro. So with that said, I'll see you later.